Our attention back to electricity and infrastructure problems. Police having to escort City Power officials in Joburg South as they underwent efforts to cut off illegally connected electricity. You can imagine how well this went down. Heidi Giokos, you were there for it, and a lot of people saying that it's being done incorrectly. They can't just come down and shut down streets and streets. Some people are paying their bills, and now they're being shut down, and it's not the right thing.
Yes, certainly. I think it was a rather volatile and tense environment today, but City Power decided to embark on this aggressive campaign to switch off electricity for non-paying customers. We do know that in the area of Naturena, where City Power decided to focus on today, we know about 1,500 households are not paying City Power. There's a bit of confusion around the amount that they owe City Power, but it's over 12 million rand that just that area owes City Power. So City Power says they are done negotiating and speaking with residents. They feel that the only way is to aggressively cut off electricity supply. But the issue here, Gareth, is that they decided to do this at about 10 o'clock this morning, which means that most people are at work, nobody's at home, and you cannot just enter a property without having actual permission or having the homeowner there. So in a number of areas, they cut off the whole street. And then you had some residents coming out and saying, but we are paying. And City Power turns around and says, well, if you are paying, you're going to have to come to City Power offices to prove that you are paying so that we can reconnect you, which you can imagine we're already facing load shedding. There's already frustration not having power. Now you're being cut off because other households are not paying. For example, one house owes City Power over 300,000, with 200,000 rand, which, I mean, how do you even reach that point? Why didn't City Power act before then? But let's listen to what the spokesperson had to say to us about this campaign.
The area of Naturena is one of those affluent areas that is refusing to basically pay for electricity. You've got residents that are, actually, you can see it's like double stories and so forth, and they don't pay for electricity. So as part of our aggressive revenue collection drive, we decided to target this area so that we can basically start forcing them to do what is right, which is basically to pay for electricity. We've got about 3,000 prepaid meters across Naturena, and only about half of those are basically vending. The rest are not vending, and that's why we basically decided to target this area. The prepaid meters, we're looking at about 27 million rands annually that we're basically losing because of those. And remember, this is the area that we basically invested in the past. Just a few months ago, we basically installed new line. We normalized the electricity infrastructure here, and it costed about 9 million rands. And the agreement that we had with the community at that time was basically to say they will basically allow City Power to move in and ensure that we basically normalize and also put in meters for those who do not have smart meters. So, and they refused for that to happen, and that's why we basically came through with law enforcement agencies so that we can basically force these residents to pay for electricity.
I'm sure Isaac Mangena not very popular with the residents today. Clearly, let's hear from the residents now. Heidi, what did they actually tell you?
Also, the media weren't very popular with the residents. There was also some tension from residents, and it's understandable. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of mixed messaging also coming from residents, because residents started speaking about how City Power is corrupt. They were alleging City Power is corrupt. They're trying to install these new smart electricity meters, and the residents are rejecting this in Naturena, saying that it's a corrupt system. It's a system that's only going to take from residents and customers. It overcharges people, and they are rejecting that new proposal by City Power. So a lot of them, I think, thought that City Power was coming in to install these meters, but in actual fact, they were cutting off the electricity. But residents were not happy at all. In both areas, when we went to Naturena, it was one street, and then further down we went, but it's still within the Naturena area. They were literally trying to stop officials from cutting off the electricity, and this is why JMPD had to come in. And one resident actually said that they feel ambushed, they feel intimidated by City Power, and also, I mean, you can look at these visuals, the amount of vehicles, there was even a police signala following us around, Gareth, so you can only imagine the intensity of these operations. But City Power says they have to have these vehicles following them, SAPS, JMPD, because you have a situation where it does get a little bit out of hand and there is a bit of tension between residents and officials. But let's listen to what one resident had to say.
We believe that the community of Naturana is paying for their services. They are not supposed to be treated this way. Areas where people are not paying, these people, they don't go there. Right? We are paying for our services. There might be few individuals who perhaps are not paying, but majority of our people are paying. Right? The reason why they want to install this thing, they know very much well that Naturana income that they will make out of Naturana will make for all these areas that are not paying. Because once the people of Naturana start paying, then it's easy for them to run with their business. They can forget about going to Freedom Park, they can forget about going to other areas. They want to punish people of Naturana for paying. And we have said to them, the culture of paying for services that you are receiving, we understand it very much well. Hence, we have been working with them since ever the days of normalization. When they were putting these green boxes, we worked with them. But we said to them, there are problems in Naturana. Let's address those issues. Issues of billing, they must be addressed.
I'm going to show you there's going to be a lot of reaction to that particular story from residents as far as the cutting off of power is concerned. We'll stay on top of that story. Heidi back with us, I'm sure, on that story again tomorrow. We'll certainly have the latest as it develops. Not very happy residents this evening. It's